Lower shell, top, lower curl, this one and this one. Put your bolts in, leave loose. These 4 holes go towards your legs. So you need to line your hole up with your seam, down towards the bottom, line it up, mark that one. That will be the hole that starts on the seam. Line your halfway through your shell, on the bottom. Lining your holes up with your seam with your marked hole. These are for your leg holes. Don't put a bolt in there. This is your center shell if it's a plus 20. If it's a regular, this will be your top shell. It has leg holes in it, just like your lower shell. Pin your 3rd hole and leave it loose. When you go to put your center shell or your top shell on, make sure your seams are lining up together. This hole will be over this one. Like so. And start working your way around, putting bolts in. When you're putting your top shell or your center shell on, make sure your leg holes all line up and leave that hole open. You'll need it to install your legs. When you go to, if you have a plus 20, and you need to install your plus 20 shell at this point, I recommend taking a couple punches and reaming out your holes. This will make your legs line up a lot easier when you go to put them on. These 2 bolts will have to come out. When you go to put your leg on, make sure your large hole in your leg is towards the top. You're going to start with this hole, and you're going to start from the 4th hole down. After you get that hole in, I recommend coming down here. Use the puffer to get in. You gotta put your leg on, make sure your large hole is towards the top. Start with the 4th hole down. Put your bolt in there, and I recommend coming down here, put another bolt in here. Hold it all in place. This is where our second set of hands is handy. Take your punch, line your holes up, and fill in the rest of your holes in your shell. When you go to put your leg on, make sure you start with the fourth hole down like your other leg. Don't count this hole because it is for your cover. Put your bolt in, put your nut in, then I recommend coming down, put another bolt in there to hold it. Now just continue to put the rest of your legs on around the bend. We're going to install the slide gate at this point. You need to disassemble the whole thing. Put it in. Take all your bolts out. Before you install your slide gate, you need to find your cover hole. You need to determine where your ladder is going to be, if it's going to be on the left or right. Your slide gate needs to go opposite of your ladder. When you go to put your slide gate in, you're just going to use a ring and your full of bolts. You're going to put it all in like so. Put your ring on. Put your small guides on. Put your slide gate with your tab facing down towards the bottom of the bend. Put large guides on. Lock washer, your nuts on. Leave them loose because you'll need to attach your hopper cone bracing to your legs. The difference between your mini bends, your F60 plus 20 or your F60 will not have this piece on here. So just have this collar. These holes will already be drilled in here, but you will have to drill the holes for your transition. These will be the holes for your leg to hopper bracing, which will run from your transition to your leg. Your MBS LGT, your leg to hopper brace will connect to the 9th hole. Do not count this one. This one is for your ankle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Put your bolt through. There's your lock washer and your nut. And disconnect your nut and your lock washer. Press back on your leg, slide that onto there, and reattach your lock washer and your nut. Do this for all 4 legs. The location for your ladder standoffs will be the same between the plus 20 mini bends and the regular mini bends. Will be in the 4th hole on the leg. Make sure your ladder standoff is opposite or off to the side of your slide gate or your opening for your transition. So a washer, lock washer, nut, down to your other leg. Do the same for there. Now putting on your upper ladder support, do not count your bottom hole for your anchor. Count up to the 12th hole. Do not count your big hole. It will attach to the 12th small hole. Same way the other one. You go to assemble your ladders. There'll be 2 sections on a regular MBSL GT or an F60 MB. Plus 20 will have 3 ladder sections. To assemble your ladder sections, take your bolt, the washer, put it through your hole. Same on your other side. Take your rung, put it on there, washer, lock washer. Same on the other side. Washer, lock washer.
you have your ladder somewhat assembled, leave everything loose. This way that gives it play when you go to put it on your bin and your ladder supports.
You go to put your ladder sections on. If it's a regular MBS LGT or an F60 MB, you'll need to take out these 2 bolts because this is where your ladder will start for your ladder section. If it's a plus 20, you will start your ladder section at the top of the 3rd shelf. Regular mini bin, start your ladder section in the middle of your sheet. Lock your washer. Now attach 2 ladders overlapping, bolt through, put it onto the ladder standoff, and with a washer and lock washer and a nut, attach it to the back side.
I froze up. My phone froze. Oh.
Move down to your lower standoff. You do have some gappage around here. You can take a hammer, it's 18 gauge, so you can take this and tap on this and it will bring that back out. Now tighten up your ladders. Off. Then go ahead and tighten your rungs up for your ladders. After your ladders are tight, go ahead and tighten your bracing. Do that on all 4. When you go to tighten these bolts, make sure you don't over tighten them so this won't slide. After tightening your bin, you'll have holes that you'll need to put bolts in, the filler holes. But when you get to the one over here that has your cover handle hole, do not fill this bolt hole because it will interfere with your latch. If you have any gaps left in your shells or around your cone or anything, we provide a bead caulking. All you would do, take it to your gap, measure your size, turn it off, come backing out. Put it over your gap with a flat screwdriver. Just tuck it into that gap. Now we're going to assemble the cover latch on your shell, which your round truss head bolt, your latch. So, take it through, washer, lock washer, and nut. And now I recommend rolling it over onto the ladder so we can attach our reinforcement plates to our shell. Like so. Now installing your shell reinforcement bracket, take your bracket, on the underside, your screw heads will be on the outside. Attach it with a lock washer and nut. Now with both shell reinforcement plates attached, go ahead and tighten these up. Now we need to do the cover assembly. Take your hole plug, stick it inside there, have somebody hold it, or you can rest it against your bin. Take a flat screwdriver, pry those little tabs out. Take the back of your screwdriver. Now installing your cover latch, take the flat part against your cover. Bend it like so. Put the bolt through the bottom. Your latch. Your lock washer. And a nut. And fill the other two. Then tighten these down. Now we need to We'll install our reinforcement brackets on our cover, your bolt, your bracket, and then on the outside, put a washer, lock washer, nut, now go ahead and install your second reinforcement plate. Now tighten both of them up. Make it easier when you slide your cover rods through our Mentake and a punch. Just kind of wringing these holes out a little bit. This will make your rod flow a little freely through it when you're trying to shove them through. Now take your cover rods, put your nuts on the bottom of them, just take them. Run them down to the very bottom of that threaded piece. Now take your rod, go through your side of your sheet, go through, screw your nut down on there. Now take a washer, put it on top of your nut on your rod, slide it into your hole, take your other washer and nut on the top side, screw it down on there. Be the same for the next rod on the other side. Pull your lid closed, hold that down, your latch, slide over the handle, it's closed. Now we're going to finish up the assembly with our feet. Slide your anchor on there, your bolt head to the inside, and then a washer, lock washer, and a nut. Now with those attached, go ahead and tighten them up and do that with the rest of the other 3 legs.